and welcome to a special edition of Cricket Predicta brought to you by 1xBet. Vomiki Infrastructures, Delhi NCR. 9 days, yes, there was a big lull in the last 9 days. What did we do? Yes, we looked at some stats, we looked at some data, looked at every ball bowled in this tournament, 13,000 deliveries, 90,000 runs. And guess what did we do? We kept a sharp eye on what Virat Kohli has been doing. Yes, we all know Virat Kohli has been in the news for his retirement in the longest form of the game. Yes, but that's not the case. He's been emerging top at the 42 parameters in a far too long, in almost 32 parameters. And let's look at returning today with a big clash between Royal Challengers Bangalore. Yes, if Virat is playing, Royal Challengers is playing, and KKR is playing at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, it has to be a do or die situation. It's exactly the case. Let's look at RCB has played 11 matches in this season, winning 8 and losing just 3. The matches, which means today's win will mark an important part. RCB gets through comfortably if they qualify. They'll be the official team for the playoffs this season. On the other hand, KKR, the match is nothing less than do or die situation. In the last 12 games, they have won just 5 games and lost 6. Yes, 1 draw. To stay mathematically alive in this situation, they have to win this game anyhow at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. And it's not going to be a very easy task. Yes, joining me to talk more in detail, I've got Paul Dinette, the man who's a famous podcaster, a journalist from Australia. Paul, welcome to the show. We're talking about Virat Kohli, RCB, and the way how things are going. Is there a danger of losing the momentum in form for RCB after a long break for all the teams? Considering RCB is back, is there a mental change that a player needs to shift gears? Your views?
Well, in theory, yes. I mean, obviously they've been flying. 4 wins on the trot. The huge building of momentum to feel as though maybe this was finally going to be their year. In practice, I think that talk of momentum is often overplayed in sport. Every team is going to be affected by the fact that there has been a substantial delay. So it's hard to know which teams will perform best once the delay ends. A couple of things potentially in RCB's favour. Rajat Patidar had been not having the greatest second half of the IPL, so potentially a few days away might refresh him. And I think Josh Hazlewood is key. Now, he's not going to be playing tonight. And as I had feared as an Aussie fan, often what seems like an innocuous injury to Hazlewood potentially is a little bit more serious because he's still not playing because of that injury. Well, had the tournament been at its normal schedule, then it would be 10 days more advanced. So they may end up getting more of Josh Hazlewood because he does look set to return than they would have done if the delay had not taken place.
Right. Paul, thank you. Let's move on to our second question. KKR have dominated head-to-head battle against RCB with 20 wins and 35 games. Do you think that kind of historical data will play on their mind, or is just by horses for courses, new day, new beginning, and it's like the U2 song, a beautiful day for them?
Well, I mean, you could look at it and say, well, KKR are going to be fearless now because they've got nothing to lose. But you could also look at it and say they must be very disappointed. They've had several days of inaction to I suppose, wallow in the situation. The defending champs are, barring some sort of mathematical miracle, heading out of the IPL and aren't going to make the playoffs. So I think ultimately you just got to look at what they are like as a cricket team. They're still a very decent side. And as I've said a few times throughout the season, it's been their top order that there's been no one who has been both explosive and consistent. They've had some players who've scored very quickly, like Narayan, and they've had some players who have been consistent. But, you know, you look at Gobaz and Rahane and Rinku Singh, and potentially, even if Manish Pandey gets a game tonight, you're wanting some of those players who are, and Venkatesh Iyer especially, that there just hasn't been that explosiveness combined with consistency, and I think they'll be obviously looking for that tonight.
Paul, RCB has won only 1 game against KKR in the last 5 clashes. Now again, is it going to impact RCB's condition here today, considering 5 matches, 5 this thing, they've lost 4, won just 1? Your views?
I really don't think that head-to-heads matter too much, given that the huge personnel changes that take place in the IPL each year. Of any previous matches that will be relevant, it'll be the first match of this IPL, where looking back, it was right from the start, the beginning of how RCB were going to play this season. They thumped KKR. KKR just couldn't get away. I think they got about 170 or 180 odd, which has kind of been typical for their season. Krunal Pandya bowled really well. Josh Hazlewood set the tone. Now, obviously, he's missing tonight, but the hope, as I said, is he's going to be back for the rest of the season. And then RCB cruised to the total. I don't think that Tim David even needed to bat. So, no, I think RCB will be coming into this game full of confidence.
Paul, before we let you go, I've got an important question. Is there a possibility of pressure from talks and discussion on Virat Kohli as he is returning to IPL after the big announcement? What do you think of the atmosphere is going to be like?
No, I think if anything, it'll work in RCB's favour. There's the really exciting prospect that lots of the crowd are going to turn up wearing whites, which is kind of interesting. It'll show how many people are regular cricketers if you've got a nice set of whites to wear to go into the ground. And I think that'd be awesome if the Chinnaswamy was full of people wearing whites in honour of Virat Kohli's Test career. That would be not only a great send-off and tribute to Virat Kohli, it'd be a great sign of respect for my favourite form of the game in Test cricket. I saw that Harsha Bhogle, even on Twitter, was eager to see if the RCB fans were going to do that. I think that would be a fantastic sight. The Chinnaswamy all in white. And yeah, I think that if anything, you can sometimes read too much into omens and how sides are going to feel. But I think if anything, the love that will be apparent for Virat Kohli will only help Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Well, there you heard it. It was Paul Tinnett, the famous podcaster from Australia. Now we get in Stanley Chodza, again, one of the most prominent coaches in the world of cricket. He's now coaching at the Sport Academy in Dubai, Emirates Hills. Stanley, welcome to the show. What should be KKR's approach in this game, considering it's a do or die situation for them in this tournament? Should they go fearlessly, or they should be a little subdued, wait, watch and see? Your views.
Sunil, thank you once again for having me on the show. Yes, it is the return of the IPL after a 10-day break, a forced one for that matter, but a timely break in terms of, if you're really looking at the teams that have not really been doing well, it's an opportunity for teams to take a break, have a look at their plans. Is it the plans that have gone wrong? Is it an opportunity to try and make other plans? Or is it the fact of players perhaps burning out? Is it perhaps players' lack of form, and perhaps time to think about other players who can come in and have an opportunity? Be that as it may, for KKR, I don't see them changing the script in how they're going about their plans. I mean, they always play fearless and aggressive. I don't see them playing too casual and or being too strategizing, as it were. KKR, they live and die by the sword. But one thing that they've done, obviously, if you look at their last two games, perhaps wherein someone like an Andre Russell, the Russell muscle, as it were, scored over 95 runs in just 2 innings, outscoring the runs he has scored in his first 7 innings, 72. A massive boost in the strike rate as well, now striking at 201. So some subtle changes, just giving an opportunity to Andre Russell to come up the order, spend more time in the middle. It's certainly working. One would have thought perhaps they could have done it earlier, but here we are. That is what comes with the break. Some time to think about these things and try and put them into perspective. However, if you look at RCB, yes, they're battered and bruised. They're still at the top in terms of their captain Padikkal, and then you've got Patida, Finger, and then you've got a niggle with the Josh Hazlewood. Will he play? It's a question of faith, isn't it? Now, with all this in mind, I think it's an opportunity for KKR to prove their mettle. Yes, they're the defending champions with an outside chance of making the playoffs. If they are to make the playoff, they have to win back-to-back matches, get to 15 points, and then hope and pray that other results go their way, and then get that net run rate contest into perspective. It's difficult, it's hard, but what a better time to be playing RCB. Not in the best, in terms of best way, but at a time when obviously they've got some of the senior players not in the best of form in terms of fitness, that is. But it's a good game. I'm looking forward to it. It's the return, and we're looking to see these two teams tee off, as it were, in terms of the return to the IPL.
Do you, or would you foresee any changes in RCB, considering they're coming up after a big long gap? And as their regular skipper, Rajat Patidar seems to miss the game. Do you foresee any which ways Virat Kohli donning the cap like MS Dhoni has done? Your views?
So now, one thing is for certain: the injury to Padikkal is a forced change. Okay, and there's nothing much you can do about it. But when it comes to strategies, etc., I think the main concern lies in the fitness of Patida, who then comes in to replace a Padikkal, as it were, as in terms of coming up the order and obviously in captaincy as well. So any team at any point, can face these. These are injuries, part and parcel of the game. But the good thing, I suppose, in a nutshell, or to put it across as in the sense that they are facing these injuries at a time when they're in a comfortable position, as in compared to their opposition. They are in the top two, and they'll like to cement that, possibly win and possibly go one better even. We know RCB would like to give possibly, if at all it is, perhaps the closing curtains of someone like Virat Kohli, but I doubt that in this format. They would like to see a scenario where they get this trophy, and I think they're in a good position to do that this season. So these injuries, yes, a necessary setback, but at least it's a necessary setback that's coming at a time when they're in a comfortable position. Missing three key players. Can that happen? Should it happen? It's an opportunity for the bench to come in and put their fingers up. Obviously, yes, coming out of a 10-day break, one would have thought perhaps the medical staff would have done lots and lots of work to try and get their players back into shape. But we'll wait and see once that while the toss is done and that coin goes up in the air, the team sheets are shared out, and we get to see who the playing 11 is. However, I think one thing obviously that'll be playing on the mind of RCBs, they've not really done very well in conditions they've called home. So I think that's a key challenge for them today. I think they'll play this game with a bit of less pressure in terms of where they are in the competition, in terms of also the amount of pressure that lies obviously on the other side of the rope in terms of KKR. KKR will really be looking to try and finish this IPL on a high note. They know things have not gone according to plan. They know that they didn't have a season that a defending championship team would have wanted. I mean, having retained 8 of your players, yes, lost Shreyas Iyer, that's part and parcel of the game. But I think for RCB, they're going to look to keep it simple. They've got the muscle at the back with Team David and Romario Shepherd, competent all-rounders. So I don't think they would really miss Patida. Yes, in that leadership role, definitely. But in runs, I think they're more than competent with what they have in their team.
Well, when you look at the power play, of course, KKR, they've got long hitters, big size hitters compared to RCB in the ongoing IPL. Is there something which they need to work upon, considering that they're taking the field in their home ground in Bangalore?
So now when it comes to the power play, one thing is clear and one thing is certain. These two teams have got two different approaches with regards to the power play. When you look at RCB, they've got a full sort aggressive. Okay, he goes after the ball, and then you've got a Virat Kohli on the other hand. Be that as the fact that he's able to still go after the bat, but he's still able to play within himself and believes in taking it deep. So therein lies the difference. And when you look at KKR, it's an experiment of kind of an opening attack with regards to Sunil Narine. He's not an all-out batsman, but he likes to go after the bowlers, and it just worked for them. And then obviously from Quinton de Kock to Gubas, there's been a change pretty much in shifting of gear because of lack of form. However, when you then look at it in the holistic picture, the big picture at the end of the day is that this opening partnership with regards to RCB has gotten them the results. Phil Salt, he plays his game. Virat Kohli, he comes in, looks to take it deep. And no wonder he's got the number of 50s that he's got. And hopefully today he can get that 63rd and surpass David Warner. So when you look at it in a holistic picture, these two teams they go about it differently. And for sure, the host in terms of RCB may have a slower start, but it gets the runs on the board. If you look at it right now, KKR, stuttering, 19.3 is the average opening partnership for KKR. The lowest in this IPL season. And yet, they have every now and then they put in performances that are good. So that lack of consistency is exactly what other teams such as RCB are now countering on and making sure they go one better, they still believe in that batsman who stays in the middle, that bats longer, everybody bats around them, and Virat Kohli has taken that role very well. So a structured approach with regards to the RCB work ethic and approach to the batting, whereas on the other hand, we know they play fearless, experimentative, and the results are there to see. There's always inconsistency when you experiment with the batting order. But however, at the end of the day, it's the holistic picture, what brings results to the table. And so far, 8 wins for RCB. The results are there to show.
Well, there you had it. You had Stanley Chiozza, the famous commentator, the coach from Zimbabwe, talking about the overall situation of the game. Now we have famous former umpire, current commentator, and also actor in the famous CID serial that you're going to see on television very soon. Welcome to the show, Anil Chaudhary. Anil, what should be the bowling attack or strategy of RCB should be like? Should they go in for complete attack, or they just wait, watch, and see what's happening today, considering that they're losing out on Josh Hazelwood in this game today?
I think this is high time RCB should peak with best of their performance, because everyone is looking for RCB to take the title this time, and they have a good team, they are in good shape, and again after this break I think they need to come back again with unity and good performance at right time, and they have good chances. They are playing very well this season, and I think they are contender of the title. Good chance for RCB, no doubt.
Should KKR also lose their bench strength for the sake of the experiment to take some notes for next season, or it's a last mathematically possible drive for them to make a comeback? Your views?
Because KKR can try their bench strength in this game to prepare a team for next year, like CSK has done, and all these new players are giving good results. So I think it's a time to KKR for try something which is useful for them in future.
How important is it going to be RCB to win this game, considering that they are getting into the groove and long impending status of Virat Kohli is also surrounding their mental aptitude and the dressing room chats? Your views?
RCB, I think Hazelwood will not be available for the first game, although he is back. But if he's not playing, then they have 3 bowlers, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, and they can try the South African bowler, Lungini Nagidi, and of course, Yash Dayal is there. So I think 3 fast bowlers, maybe 1 all-rounder, and then they have 2 leg spinners. So that's a good bowling attack, and yeah, they need to bat well as well. So bowling they can manage, because I think Hazelwood will not be for today's game. Let's see if he's playing, then of course RCB will be in good shape.
Well, there you had it. You had 3 of the best voices of the game talking about from a different vantage point, but talking just one thing: the resumption of IPL after 9 days. And this is Sunil Yashkalra signing off on Cricket Predicta from the beautiful Marbella Resorts in Sharjah, talking about in depth about the game of cricket and everything that surrounds it. Don't go anywhere else. We'll be back after a short commercial break.